Greetings everyone, and I hope you're all fit and well out there in collecting land, and welcome back to the channel for another NECA 1/10 scale figure unboxing and review. And today we're going to be taking a deep dive into NECA's Ultimate T-1000, as played by Robert Patrick in the seminal masterpiece that is James Cameron's Terminator 2 Judgment Day. The format remains unchanged. We will have a quick look at the box, then it'll be down onto the table for a look at all the accessories. Then it will be out with the liquid metal assassin himself for an up-close look, and we'll be wrapping the whole thing up with the usual showcase at the end. As always, big love to everyone who's subscribed and supported the channel, and if you're still on the fence, come on, mash that subscribe and bell notification icon so you're not missing any of the content coming up on the channel. And trust me, there's a hell of a lot of it in all manner of different scales, some of which we'll be listing at the end of the review, but not all, because that list is just way too long. So, background. NECA have released a number of T-1000 iterations over the years, and regulars to the channel will know, well, for me anyway, keeping up can be quite a headache with all the different iterations, standard editions, ultimate editions, reissue of standard and ultimate editions. It just seems to go on forever. But I believe this is the 2020 reissue of the ultimate edition. That would tie in because I bought this figure about 3 or 4 years ago, and as you can see, the seals are still intact on this box. It's never been opened, but I guess we won't know the actual year of production on this one until we get this box open and have a look at his feet, because NECA have a tendency to stamp the year on the feet, but sometimes that can be inaccurate as well. But that's enough of my NECA ramblings. Let's take a look at this box. Let's stop it from spinning and have a quick look at it. And it's the usual story here, the usual same high level of presentation, high gloss box from NECA with that Velcro book opening design. What you've got on the front here is a shot of Mr. Patrick himself from the film. That's, I believe, the sequence in the Foundry where he's gesticulating to Sarah Connor, telling her off for having a pot shot at him. But yeah, a very simple image, but very bold. It says Terminator 2 Judgment Day across the top. You've got T-1000 in the bottom. On the sides there, continuation of that Terminator 2 Judgment Day. It says NECA Real Toys at the bottom. Same thing again on this side, same thing on the top, the usual warnings on there, and on the bottom you've got all the credits and the barcode and bits and pieces. Don't piss this figure off, or it might impersonate a police officer, steal a helicopter and blow up a building. On the back you have some shots, as you always do with these NECA figures, some really nice shots of the figure itself. There's a blurb there about the, I believe that's actually the speech that Sarah Connor gives at the beginning of the film. If you wanted to pause that and read that, feel free to do so. As I said, it's that usual Velcro book cover design. Pop it open, and what you're greeted with is the clear plastic cover with the figure and the accessories underneath, and another rather nice shot of the figure itself with this hospital backdrop and that patterned floor. So, yep, that's the box. So without further ado, let's crack the seals open on this guy, dive down onto the table and have a look at all the accessories that he comes with. Okay, so seals broken, accessories and figure out, and let's have a quick look at everything he comes with. We'll start with the hands as we always do, you know, me and my hands. Now, you get 3 swap out hands. The one gripping hand for the pistol, which we'll take a look at. The level of sculpt here is pretty good. Normally what we come to expect from NECA. There's a few visible seams, but on the whole, it's pretty well done. There's bone work in there and vein work, and you can even see the fingernails on there. Paint application's a little bit matte, and I've had this issue with a few NECA figures over the years. It just has this sort of cartoony, slightly matte quality about it, almost clay-like, but it is what it is, and getting paint applications absolutely spot on in 1/10 scale is not the easiest thing in the world. But yeah, that's the gripping hand for the handgun. You also get 2 swap out hands where his finger is liquefying into the metal stake, which he inserts in a few people during the course of the movie. Yeah, these are quite nicely done. These the actual metal part of these things is quite delicate, so I would it's all one piece of sculpted plastic obviously, but I would recommend exercising caution with these because they are quite fragile, but the sculpt on the hand is the same quality as the gun gripping hand and the same paint applications, and then obviously the index finger stretches out and it's got this silver paint application that grades down into the skin texturing and colours on the finger itself. But yeah, quite nicely done. Very delicate though, as I said, so watch out. And you get two of these, one straight and one slightly shorter, which bends up at the end. But yeah, both quite delicate, as I say. So if you're picking this figure up, exercise some caution there. But that's the metal finger hands. That's all the hands out the way. You also get these swap out arms to replicate the claws. The liquid metal claws that he creates with his arm to access the elevator and then to hook himself onto the back of the car. And quite nicely done these are too. The screen accuracy looks there to me. There's a right and a left one. We'll just take a look at one of these because they're both virtually identical. Essentially what you've got here is all one piece of sculpted plastic with this gradiated silver paint application which goes into the sort of the deep blue of the police uniform he's wearing, pegged at the end there so it goes into the elbow joint. Yeah, and two of, but nicely painted, nicely sculpted, and screen accurate as far as I can tell. So that's the metal hooks. Obviously if you've got a gun gripping hand you're going to have the gun, and this is the 1/10 scale handgun that he uses. Nice sculpt there. Pretty basic. The paint applications aren't the best in the world, as you can see there. There's been some bleed of that silver paint work into the handle there. Little bit slapdash there, but overall pretty good replication of the handgun that he uses, if not the best paint applications I've ever seen. So yeah, that's the handgun. And finally, the head and swap out chest. Now, this figure comes with three heads. We'll take a look at the other head when we bring the figure out, but it also comes out with this swap out feature, which we'll take a look at as well when we bring the figure out. Now, this whole chest area swaps out so that you can replace it with this sort of, well, I'll call it battle damaged version, and quite nicely done it is too. The whole torso comes out, and then there are 4 clips on the back here where you can actually just clip this new torso in. And the detailing here is pretty much the same as on the figure, with the police shirt with the badge in the top left-hand corner, and then he's got his I think it actually says Austin there on the lapel there, but the crease work is really nice. The paint applications are nice and accurate there. Overall, pretty good. You've even got the pen in the top pocket, but then you've got these silver bullet wounds where he's reforming, and then you have this head sculpt. Now, this head sculpt is removable, and this obviously is the head sculpt where he's taken a shot to the face, shall we say, and the bullet's gone straight through him. The paint applications and sculpt there are really nice, although, as I mentioned before, that slightly matte texture, which I don't know, it just it's not my favourite. It could be done slightly better, the paint application there. I think it feels like they've just gone for one skin tone and that's it. And there's some rough areas in the sculpt that you can probably see here. There's some rough seams in the neck area, and that ear isn't the best sculpt, and there's some rough areas where plastics remain detached on the seam lines from the mould. But on the whole, I think for a 1/10 scale representation of Robert Patrick from Terminator 2, I think they've done a very good job. The eyes are nice and blue, and that's screen accurate. The hair detailing is correct and the right style, and that hole in his head there is done really, really well with that silver paint application in there, and the sculpting of the ripples that sort of replicate the sculpting of the ripples on the bullet, the gunshot wounds on his chest as well. So overall, very nice. We'll pop that to one side, and oh, I forgot to mention, this head actually does come off. As you can see here, there's the peg situation is hidden behind that shirt, and this is just straight out of the box. So whether this actually wants to come off on camera, and it does. So yeah, you can use either of the 3 head sculpts on battle damage version or on the normal version that we'll see when we bring the figure out. So yeah, all the heads swap out, which is great to see. So that's the battle damaged chest, and you also get this swap out head as well, where his head's been literally cleaved into by the Terminator, the T-800, and nice sculpt going on here. Once again, that paint application puts me off ever so slightly, but on the whole I think it's pretty well done. The paint applications inside to replicate that the liquid metal are really nice. There are a few issues with this, so I noticed them straight away out of the box. It looks like what NECA have done here is, rather than do one individual sculpt, what they've done here is actually they've done two, split the head and then attached this left hand side, and I'll show you what I mean here. If you can see along the neck area there is a seam line that runs from the back of the neck all the way around under the chin and then round this side of the face, and then they've glued this section of the head sculpt on, and perhaps not the most accurate either. I don't know whether the camera's catching this, but there's gaps there in that seam around the neck and the head area, and there's glue there. You can see the clear acrylic glue where it's dried, where they've attached this. And also as well, if I get this guy in profile, you'll see that the head doesn't actually match up in the area that's not coming apart. There's a slight overlap from the other side there, which sort of looks a bit odd from certain angles. Yeah, the heads haven't actually been glued on uniformly, so yeah, perhaps not the best the best fix as far as attaching this side of the head goes, but overall it's pretty good, and I think once again, as a representation of Robert Patrick from T2, they've done a pretty good job here, NECA. Perhaps I won't be using this head sculpt. I'm slightly, as I say, off-put by that profile not matching and those ugly seam lines there, but yeah, and some of the paint applications here aren't the best on the hairline, but overall not bad, but no cigar. So yeah, that's the second of your two swap out head sculpts. So that's all the accessories. So without further ado, let's bring out the figure himself. Let's get him onto the stand. Well, there isn't a stand. Let's get him onto the turntable rather, and take an up close look at him. Okay, so here he is. It's the T-1000 himself, straight out of the box, straight onto the turntable, and first impressions. First impressions are pretty good. The proportions look absolutely spot on. The outfit itself looks detailed and the correct colour. The screen accuracy looks on point. Overall, I think it's what we've come to expect from NECA. Yeah, it's the usual NECA fare, so to speak. But we'll do as we always do. We'll have an up close look at him. So let's stop him from spinning, get him off the turntable, and get him a little bit closer into shot. We'll start at the bottom and work our way up. Now, I managed to have a quick look in between takes here at the soles of these feet, and there are two holes here if you're wanting to use a stand. I think this is the kind of figure that really ideally does need a stand. Now, I'm not sure whether the camera is picking this up, but unfortunately there's a bit of distortion on the sole here, and it's difficult to tell what that says. And now it looks to me like there's a 1 in front of that, so this looks like it may actually be slightly later or maybe even earlier than I said it. That could be 2015. I'm not 100% certain, but yeah. So aging this guy and dating him is not going to be the easiest thing in the world. But yeah, we'll take a look at the figure itself and stop trying to put an age on him. The feet themselves, as always with NECA figures, are pegged directly into the leg itself. There's a little bit of movement in there, but because of the nature of these pants and the plastic that they're made out of, there's not a vast amount of movement there. There's a bit of lateral movement, but no forward or backward movement. The shoes themselves are screen accurate. They're this sort of they're all sculpted plastic, obviously, but you've got this high gloss finish to them with sculpted in laces and a heel on there. The actual suit itself, now it's this deep blue, almost black, which is actually screen accurate for the police officer's uniform in the movie. The pants themselves have got some nice creasing in there that's sculpted in. They're a hard plastic. The joints themselves have been painted the same colour as the suit, which is good to see. I have occasionally come across NECA figures where these things stand out because they are they've been unpainted, but they haven't here. Let's check the articulation in these legs. And this is brand new out the box, so as always the joints are going to be a little bit stiff, but yeah, there's a decent amount of movement there. You're not going to get it to 45 degrees, but you're getting it most of the way, and that's the same with both legs. Yeah, it feels like there's a double joint there actually. Oh no, it's a single joint, but yeah, the actual material is nicely painted and nicely sculpted, and there is some, if I can get this close enough into the camera, you might be able to see that they've actually sculpted in a material-like element into the outfit itself as well. Just gives it that extra dimension. But yeah, the creasing's nice there on the trousers and on the shirt itself. You've got a sculpted plastic belt. This is a slightly softer plastic than the rest of the body. You've got a holster there, which you can put the gun into if you so wish. There's nice paint applications on there, picking out the silver detailing. And I'll lift his arm up for this so you can see you've also got a walkie-talkie attached to the belt on the right hand side. Now that's not removable, that's just part of the belt itself. That antenna looks a little bit long to me. I mean, it doesn't get in the way of the figure, but it just looks a little bit oversized. Might be worth trimming that down a little bit, I don't know, but yeah, it just looks a bit incongruous, the length of that antenna. But yeah, continuing up, that those paint applications are continued, and that creasing in the shirt itself is really nicely done. As with the swap out torso section, you've got the badge on there, the pen, the detailing on the buttons is picked out with silver paint. You've got the name badge. The articulation in the shoulders is sort of the standard fare for NECA. You've got a complete 360 swivel there, and his arms will go out to almost level to his shoulder height, and obviously you've got that joint in the elbow as well. A little bit stiff because it's brand new, but yeah, so the articulation is pretty much standard NECA stuff, and then you've got this final head sculpt of the three. This is my preferred head sculpt, I must admit. Out of all three of these, I think probably the bullet hole head is my second favourite. My least favourite is the split head. Now, probably the reasoning for that is just the inaccuracy. Well, not inaccuracies, but the way the sculpting solution is, and it's not perfect, and some of the paint applications are a bit off. But this most certainly is my favourite of the three, and there's no mistaking that as Robert Patrick. Absolutely. Is it 100% spot on? No, but what 1/10 scale head sculpt is, I think without a shadow of a doubt, though, they've nailed it, from that intense stare to the shape of the head, the hairstyle, the hair colour. Still got that same sort of matte skin, which is slightly off to me, but I think overall a very, very good head sculpt there from NECA. But we'll take a quick look at this swap out torso section, because the easiest way to do this is simply I've found to actually just get your fingers behind the lapels themselves, give it a pull, and what will happen is the whole front section will come away like that. And obviously you've got those 4 holes there for the corresponding holes on the swap out torso section. So yeah, put that to one side, and it's simply a case of popping the new section in, just being a little bit careful around that belt area so you don't catch it, and then pushing it into place. And it requires a little bit of pressure and a little bit of jiggling around that belt to get it absolutely spot on, he said. And it worked first time. It's not going to work this time. There we go. Yeah, you get a sort of satisfying crunching, squeezing noise when it finally goes into place. But yeah, so there you have it with the battle damaged torso as well. And really nice solution, that. Very, very simple, but very effective. It might need a little bit of finagling around the lapel area, because a gap can appear there. But just a little bit of a squeeze together will sort that out. So yeah, that's the bullet hole head sculpt with the battle damaged torso on it. So yeah, there you have it. That is NECA's ultimate T-1000 Let's get him back on the turntable and go into final thoughts on this guy. Oh, we didn't cover the swap out arms. There we go. Let's not do the final thoughts until we've checked out these arms. So, yeah, the swappable hands, so relatively straightforward. Take this pegged right hand off, and exercising caution not to bend the liquid metal spike. It's just a case of inserting this hand into there. As with all NECA figures, first time round, some of these joints can be a little bit uncooperative. Might need a hairdryer or some hot water or just a little bit of extra pressure there. But I would say be careful here to apply the pressure to the hand. Don't catch that that metal spike. That could end in tears. But yeah, once it's on, yeah, it's very effective. So you have the metal spike hand. You've also got the right hand version of that, as we saw before, which is slightly shorter and bent, which is exactly the same process on this side really to swap out. Or you can, we'll take that off, or you can take the entire forearms out themselves, and hopefully this will work first time. Obviously this is brand new, literally the first time I've done this, so if oh no, they were relatively easy. I'm quite surprised there. So we'll pop the now I don't think, I'm trying to figure out whether one of these is right and one of these is left. Let's go with he said confidently, I suspect that is the right one. So we'll start with this one and try not to knock the camera over. Oh, that went in relatively easily as well. So yeah, the hook sections of the arms go on relatively easily. I do like that look. I think they've done a cracking job there. I like the gradiated paintwork there. I think it's very, very good. I think they've done top-notch job there. So we'll get him back on the stand. So that's how you go about swapping the arms out. And there you have it. That is NECA's take on the Ultimate T-1000 from Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Let's get him spinning again and going for final thoughts. I really do like this. I think it's. I think NECA once again have done what NECA do and produced a very, very high quality 1/10 scale figure. The screen accuracy is on point. I like the detailing. This, excuse me, this swap out chest piece I think is a really good solution. The arms work really well. I think the hook solution and the way those have been painted is absolutely excellent. I think overall they've done a very, very good job. I think my only complaints, and really on this one, apart from that matte paint application, which seems to have plagued quite a few NECA figures that I've reviewed recently, I think that paint, I don't think it's the actual the way it's applied. I think it's more the paint that they've used could be. I think they need to lift that matte up just a little bit better, a little bit more rather, to get that better skin texture and get away slightly from that matte look. But yeah, the only thing that really lets it down for me is this head sculpt. It's that, if the camera will focus, it's wanting to focus on the figure in the background there. It's that ugly seam line there and the way that the two halves of the head don't match up. I think lets that particular head sculpt down. So I mean, as a score out of 10, 8.5. Yeah, I'd go with an 8.5, maybe a 9 on a good day. I think overall it's absolutely excellent, and if you are a collector of NECA 1/10 scale figures, particularly Terminator figures, I think this will make a brilliant addition to your collection, and I really like it. I think it's NECA doing what they do best. So there you have it. What are your thoughts on this particular figure? Is it something you've got in your collection, something you're thinking of picking up? What are your thoughts and takes on the sculpt, on the accuracy, on the paintwork? I'd be fascinated to hear. So please pop a comment in the comment section below, and let me know your thoughts and feelings on this one. And I suppose all that remains for me to say is a massive thank you for watching. Oh, and what's coming up on the channel? Almost forgot. In the 1/10 scale world, we have a heck of a lot more NECA stuff coming in, a variety of stuff and stuff, old stuff, new stuff. We've got Evil Dead, Predator, RoboCop, American Werewolf in London, a vast array of NECA stuff coming up on the channel. In the 1/6 scale world, we have Hot Toys Ladypool to go with the Deadpool that we recently reviewed on the channel. We've got Mondo's MacCready from The Thing. That's actually on its way to us as we speak. It's literally DHL have got hold of it and are bringing it from the other side of the world. We've got Caustic Plastics, Horror of Dracula, the exclusive double pack version. Blitzways, Astro Boy, Premier Toys, Furiosa and Dementis from Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, and the Doof Warrior from Fury Road. Also Interstellar, when we're talking about the Premier Toys. Susu Toys, Blade 3, XO6, Savick and Krug from Star Trek 2 and 3 respectively. A boatload of present toys stuff, way too many to list here. So as you can tell, yeah, there's an awful lot of stuff coming up on the channel. So please, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon so you're not missing anything. And I suppose all that remains for me to say is, from the Liquid Metal T-1000 and myself, take care of yourselves. Thank you for watching. Happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.